Hello everyone, Joe from Central Jersey, Conrail and Inscale. Welcome back to our operations series. So this is it. This is I'm calling this the operations blowout. So what the plan here is, we're going to start, and over the next 7 days, I'm going to put out a video per day, and we're going to start an operating session, and we're going to do it all the way through to the end. Okay, so I've gone ahead and made up a schedule for today. I picked the 16th because today is April 16th. So this is the date that we're going to assign, and it's going to be June 16th, 1988, and the Julian date is 168. So for this session, this is the planned ops. The first train going to be run down is going to be the WJOI-16, which is out of Oak Island, and that's coming from staging track 6 up to Brown's Yard. It'll do its transfer and then run back down to Oak Island in track 6 in the staging yard. The next train to leave the yard will be the SAO2. That's going to be out of the Parlin yard. It's going to go from Parlin to Browns to pick up and then go back and do the online drill in the Sayreville running track. Next train we have planned is going to be the SA39. For those of you who have watched in the past, you know what the SA39 runs from Browns all the way down to Ciba-Geigy, and it'll service the Ciba-Geigy facility. The next train will be the SA35, which will go from Browns down to the Southern Secondary and work the industries on the Southern Secondary, which we are representing by staging. The next train after that we're going to run is the SA37 Extra, which is the Browns Yard down to Clayton Sand to service the sand pit. We're going to be doing a mine block run. Then after that, we will send down the WJSA31 to work all the industries from Jamesburg all the way down to Toth in Farmingdale. And then we're going to wrap up our session with the WJCA53, which is going to be the transfer run from Pavonia up to Brown's Yard and then back to Pavonia. We're representing Pavonia in the track 5 of the staging yard. So with the plan of events here for the next 7 days is, we'll do one train per session, or one train per day per video. So the first one's going to be the OI-16, and Brown's Yard's not totally finished. I still got about 6 more turnouts to install, but I'm just going to go ahead and go it alone because all the turnouts in the back that I can't reach, I've gone ahead and installed all the tortoises, so at least this way we can get the ones in the front I can do manually. That doesn't really matter. So I'll show you how we classify all the trains and build them all in the in Brown's Yard. I've already made up all my switch lists for all the trains, so we'll go over them at the beginning of each video. I'm going to use the same format as the previous videos. I'll tell you a little bit about the train, we'll go over our paperwork, and then we'll get to work. So for this session, I broke out the train order book. I'm going to keep track of all the train orders in the train order book. I'm not going to go over it as we go along. It'll be easier to explain to you after the session. So after we run the CA53, I'll briefly go over the train order book and show you how you use that, how you keep track of all the Form Ds. After running the one session in March, I kind of picked up a good system on how I'm doing that, so I'll share that with everyone. So otherwise, I'm like I said, this is the big blowout here for you on the channel. Because this is in celebration of running my operations sessions, which our next one is scheduled for May 19th. So I figured now is a good time to get in here. The layout's all set. The loads have been changed. Car cards are all moved around. I had some. There's going to be a couple of anomalies through this session. There was a car, I know there's a car over behind me at Donasso's. We found out through the ops session that there was too many cars on this cycle, so I'm going to show you what to do with an extra car that needs to be removed. Also, the other thing that you can look forward to this session is I'm going to show you how to clear all the way in transit cards. We're actually going to simulate the scale over at Brown's Yard. I don't have the Boulder Creek scale yet, but I'll show you how we're going to use that using the dice. And we'll weigh all our cars, and hopefully we don't get any overweight cars that got to go back to Clayton. And then last thing, because of the last time we did our op session, don't forget we're going to be using 3-person crews here, so we're going to have an engineer, and we'll have a conductor and brakeman. So that should make operations go a little smoother with placing individuals in their spot. Now I'm just going to call it out visually. I'm not going to use any kind of little representations on the layout to say where the brakeman is and where the conductor is. I'll just call it out visually, verbally as we go, because scenery still isn't set, so there's nowhere to put little figures, to demonstrate the ideas. So other than that, I hope everybody enjoys this, and leave me your comments as we go along. And as in previous videos, I would post the video and we go over the comments and we'll talk about them. Unfortunately, with the format of doing this all in 7 days in a row, I'm not going to be able to discuss your comments. So maybe on the next ops video, we'll talk about all the comments, or maybe I'll just make a video on all the comments. And but we'll see. Tell me what your thoughts are on that. If you want a whole video full of me answering questions and seeing me here blab for 20 minutes or not. But otherwise, hope you enjoy this, and let's get to work. Okay, so here's our train, the WJOI-16. It's on track 6 of the staging yard, which is up there against the wall. We have 17 cars we got to take from Oak Island, Newark to Brown's Yard. Our lead loco, we're running with 2 locomotives today, an SD40 number 6302 and an SD45 number 6068. So this train calls out of Oak Island, then it goes down the Chemical Coastline, then moves across Raritan River Drawbridge, comes down to CP Church, and gets on to the Amboy Secondary in the prototype. But here we're just going from staging through SA Junction, up our helix, and onto the into Brown's Yard. So let's go over our Form D. Form D is C101, and it is to C&E number 6302, crew of the OI-16. Circle line 2, operate in south direction on single track between Oak Island and Browns. Dispatcher is JD. Time effective is 0607. Okay, so the OI-16 has traversed the helix, and we're up at top, passing the Amboy engine facility. As you can hear, the yard crew is already standing by, waiting for the OI-16 to arrive. So we're going to take it down through the arrival departure area. There we are, passing the yard crew. What we're going to have to do is we're going to have to go all the way down, because the Y at Jamesburg isn't completed, but we're going to wrap all the way down through Jamesburg to clear the last switch in the line, and then we'll back in. Alright, so I'll open up the turnout and we'll back down. I'm going to move the yard crew is going to move their locomotive out of the way. And OI-16 is cleared it back into the yard. happen is the yard crew is going to come up and couple onto the cutter cars. Alright, and then I'll uncouple from the WJOI-16. And what we need to do is we're going to occupy the scale track all the way back to track 10 with the in-arriving cars from Oak Island. And then what we'll do is we'll pull the outbounds for Oak Island while the crew for the WJOI-16 gets their train moved. They got to move their locomotives. We'll set a handbrake back here. We're going to split this right here. Uncouple. And we're going to pull forward. Alright, we'll leave these here. We'll pull this, set a handbrake on the lead. Alright, we'll uncouple. And we're going to pull forward. Alright, move that turnout. Alright, so we're coupled on. Release the handbrake. And we're going to start pulling this cut down. And while that's going on the switch lead, the Yardmaster is going to clear the OI-16, which they have gone down and hit the Y, and they've turned their locomotives around, so they're ready for the trip back to Oak Island. And we'll clear them down so they can get in position for their cars. Alright, one couple here, set a handbrake. Uncouple our locomotive. Now we gotta go back and pick up the other cut of cars on track 8. Yeah, so the yard crew had to work pretty hard. That's a long cut of cars. It's wrapping all the way around. So we're going to set a handbrake. We'll uncouple. The yard crew is going to back away. Alright, so now we need to get our OI-16 is going to come in and couple onto their cars. So we have a whole new train here. So we are going to do an initial air brake test. We have 22 cars, and we're going to charge the train line. So the OI-16 is going to charge up the train line. Okay, so while the OI-16 is charging up its train line, we're going to go ahead and take care of the car cards and waybills. For right now, I'm just going to put it in the slot and take all these cards out. All for Oak Island bound down here. And I'm just going to stick these cars in here. So now, this is our train right here. Bundle it, put the 2 locomotive cards on here, and we'll bundle it up. So now the train's ready to go back to Oak Island. So now we've aired up We're at 90 pounds on the brake line. I'm going to set the brakes. And we'll hold it for 15 seconds on the fast clock. Now we're going to confirm the pressure at the end of the train line, and it is 69 pounds. It looks like since our last session together, Ed's made an update. This is a little different than we've done in the past. So we confirmed the pressure, so we're going to visually inspect all 22 cars. So it's going to start inspecting. Okay, so we've visually inspected all brakes for application. Now we're going to release the brakes. Brakes are released. And now we're going to visually inspect for all brakes released. Okay, and so our test is successful. So all of the air brake tests have been done. We are going to call dispatch, Allentown, and we're going to get our new Form D, C102, to CNE, number 6302, the crew of the OI-16, operating in a north direction on single track between Browns and Oak Island. Dispatcher is JD. The time effective on the fast clock is going to be 0900 in the morning. Okay. Also, while I'm here, I'm going to get cancellation of Form D C101, and the time of cancellation is 0905. Dispatcher Desmond. So now we are operating under the authority of C102. I'm going to call the yard master, make sure that we're clear to head out of the yard, that the yard crew's not working on our way, and we're going to get this train rolling back to Oak Island. Alright, there you go. So the OI-16 is back in staging. So now we'll head back to Brown's Yard so we can start our classification. Okay, so let me just apologize for the last scene. I should have checked the sounds as we were going. The fan was running, the locomotive was parked right by the camera, so I apologize. I'm going to correct that audio during the editing phase so you're not blown out, because that thing was just sitting there, and that turbo gets really loud. So I muted the locomotive for right now. What I want to do is I'm going to get all my car cards in order so I can make my decisions of what cars are going where. So to make things easier, the car cards already turned into slot 1 on the waybill. Now, if you look on the waybills, I have written on the via route, I've written the train name. So that's going to help you in the yard classifying all your cards. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to separate them out by train. So this is for the SA39. This is for the SA37, SA31. And the SA35. Okay. The other thing I'm going to point out is there's 3 cars here. They kind of got left behind. We had a breakaway, so I brought them up and they're spotted in here. So now there's not enough room on that lead. As you can see, now that we got the OI-16 out of here, these cars were dropped yesterday afternoon by the CA53, and they've already been classified by yesterday's crew. So this morning, now we got to put these cars in for the OI-16. What I've done is my tracks, in my track boxes, track 3, I have assigned, let me get this out of here. These cars have been moved. Track 3 has been assigned to the SA35, and I indicate that by the little blue card. I drop that in there. So SA35, 31, 37. Down on track 6 is the WJOI-16, the SA39, and the SA37 Extra. I can remove these purple cards because that was my markers for the OI-16. I'll put them aside so I don't get those in the way. And now I have extra tracks. So track 3 is open. Track 2's obviously open because that's the switch lead. Track 1 is not open because I got those cars. I have tracks 8 and 9. So I have some empty tracks now to move stuff around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a cut of cars off the that lead that goes into the back, the scale track, and I'll just start bringing them down and shoving them into the bowl. So what I've done is I've reversed the order in my hand here. So I know that this car needs to go to the SA39. SA39, all their cars are being staged on track 7, which is this one right over here where my pick is pointing to. So I'm just going to start backing down and I'll just start flicking them off into the bowl. Okay, so for the sake of this video, I'm not going to be getting into the switching crew wrap right now because I want to talk through this. So SA39, that's this car. I'll flick that off, then I'm going to take the car card and I'll stick it in the bill box. So that's right in the front. Okay, now our next car is going to the SA35, which is the next track right here. We'll pull forward. I'm sorry, SA35 is track 3. It's over here. Both these last two cars are both going to the SA35. I'm going to stick them in here. Pull forward. These are going in the SA35 box. Now this one's going to the SA31. SA31 is track 4. Now I'm going to cheat so I don't have to come all the way out. All I'll do is this. The next car coming down the line, the Shell hopper car, needs to go to the SA35 as well. So what I'm going to do is put that there. Break this off here. Alright, we'll uncouple here. Now, so SA1, this one goes in the SA35 box. Now, if you look, the next one's coming in row, SA31, 31, 31, and then the one right behind the locomotive goes to the SA35. So what I'll do is this again. Okay, pull back up. So this is going in the SA35 now, so I'll put that in the bin. I can tell you already the SA35 is built because I know from the switch list there's only 4 cars. I'm going to push this all the way back out of the way. There we go. So now, that goes to SA 37, 31, 39. So these cars that we're sticking right here, they're already part on the track, halfway to the track on the 31. So I'm going to come down now and grab this cut of cars, the ones that I brought up afterwards. Just get them out of the way. Now this I-beam's going to SA 37, the middle one's going to the SA 31, and then the tanker's going to the SA 39. So what I'm going to do is stick the SA39, stick this car for the SA39 on this track here for now. Put that in with the SA31 cards. This car here is for the SA37. That's got to go to the next track over, track 5. So right there, we'll hit the turnout and push it back down in. Now we're going to go back and we're going to grab that cut over there. Okay, so I'm halfway out the ladder. I just realized I got to pull this 31 cut out of here. I started building it. There's not enough room. I got to put it in the back track. So I'm going to go back there to track, that's track 8 or 9. I'm going to put it on track 9. We're going to build the SA31 out on track 9. So before I get half out, all the way out, I'm going to go back in and pick these cars up. Should have been thinking ahead. These are extra moves that are, eating up time. And, the yard crew, they want to hear the Mets game coming on here in a little bit, so. That's pretty much the process here. It's just getting your cars in order, knowing all your slots, picking out slots, and then getting those cars in those slots so you can get the train sort of built. So then when we're all done with that, we're going to do a second classification where we're going to go through and kind of like block out the cars. put all the cars for freehold lumber in one block and the ones for, agway in one block, so they're all grouped together so they're not just like piecemealed all around. So that's going to be a secondary classification. So I've pretty much given you the premise. So what I'll do now is I'll just be quiet and I'll move these cars around and you can watch for a few minutes. Okay, so there we go. I got the SA02 over on track 1. They're ready to go. SA35's over there. The SA39 is down over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the yard crew on lunch break, and I'm going to start pulling down locomotives and getting them all hooked up, ready to go, and we'll be done here with classification. Okay, so the camera died. I had to download it and recharge. I blocked out the SA31. Like I said, the switch crew's on break, so now I'm going to start pulling down locomotives out of the house. First one is 2808. That's going to come down and go to the SA35. Okay, so I got 2808 over there on the SA35. I'm going to bring down one of my new locomotives, the 1980. They keep it moving with Conrail locomotive. Oops, we're running against a turnout. And he's going to hook on to the SA39. And the SA39, like I said, is staged over here on the switch lead. Okay, so now the last step here in the yard before our trains are ready to go. I'm going to get our car cards and their associated locomotives. SA02 all set to go. I'll put that on track 1. SA31, like I said, is all blocked out already. I did that when you guys weren't watching. And I'm going to go ahead and assign that to GP38-2, number 8072, even though it's still over at the house. I'll band that together and put that there. SA35 is all classified. We can band that together. Put that in there. And then also we got the SA37 extra. That's all set to go. And I'll put that right there. So now all my trains are ready to be dispatched. Alarm's going off. So we're all set to go. All right. Okay, so there you go. There's the WJOI-16 and our first round of classifications here in the yard. So we got some lessons learned. Yeah, the WJOI-16 took about 30 minutes to get up the helix because on the way up I had a derailment and it dumped the cars. I had to pick them all back up, and consequently that's why we had that block that broke away. And then WJOI-16 on the way down, we had trouble going down, and we also had a derailment in the helix. I'm learning. And it's a big, I don't know if anybody else is having the same issue. These center I-beam cars, they're so light that you put them in the middle or the front of the train with all that slack action, they're getting tossed off the rails. So I got to remember to spot all those at the rear of the train where there's not much forces, because being up in the middle, it's amazing. You watch them going down the helix and they're just pushing, and then there's a little slack and then it jumps off. It's unbelievable. They need about I'd say almost an ounce and a half more weight to keep them low on the center on the rails. So that was the big issue going up and down the helix, was I didn't move those. You know, I know it's my own fault because I've known from running trains around here to put all the center I-beams at the back when we're going up and down the helix. So that was one thing to slow us down. The other thing was getting a lot of picking in here in the yard ladder because I don't have any of the tortoises installed, so I really got to get those done. But overall, classification, you know, once you get your car cards organized and you get your system. Now, I'm not saying my system's the only way, because I'm sure there's just like with everything else out there, there's a bunch of different ways to do the same task. But once you get your system right in your mind and you assign those slots and you start banging cars in there, the classification is very simple. It goes so quick. Even with the ESU Loke sound, you know, it has all that like momentum in it, or you know, the build up. And I was trying to feather the drive hold for you so you can get some of the effect of the engine, you know, gearing up to push a heavy load. And even with all that, the actual classification itself was so quick. I think I did that within like 20 minutes. It's just getting all set up and getting all the pieces of the puzzle ready to go, and then getting that WJOI-16 moved around and then getting it sent back down. The other thing is, I'm probably going to get some comments. I ran them up elephant style. I don't know why. I wasn't thinking. I got them up here in the yard. I'm like, now they're going to be running down long hood. Conrail never ran locomotives long hood, only Norfolk Southern. So, I magically made the Y work. So, but hey, you know what? We got the job done. Long afternoon. I'll be honest with you. I think it was a lot of work, and it's going to be interesting to see how it works in an op session. May have to reevaluate this whole schedule thing, because it's a lot of work for one person. During the op session, I had everything all pre-blocked out and trains all made up, so we're just pulling trains and sending them on their way. Okay, so now we got the SA02 lined up to go. We got the SA35 ready to go. SA39's ready to go. And the SA31 just got to pull it down and hook it onto its locomotive, and that's ready to be sent on the way. So tune in tomorrow. That's right, tune in tomorrow for the SA02. We're going to run the SA02 out first, and then we're just going to send them down in their order and kind of like block everybody in, where SA31 is kind of the cork holding everything back, and once the 31 comes back, we'll run everything back down and then reclassify, so you get another look at classification on the when we do the CA53 video. So you can see how I classify that, and then that'll be looking pretty good. Okay, so we'll see you tomorrow for the SAO2. It's kind of weird to say that, but it's pretty cool. If you're watching this video for the first time and you like what you see, please subscribe to our channel, because I love doing ops, and we're going to be doing a lot of ops videos. And if you guys like this video, hit the thumbs up button. Give me your comments, everyone. I want to hear what everybody thinks. And otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.